I am a professional hater, a very sophisticated profession. It comes in many shapes and forms, but what exactly makes one a professional and not just a hater? Since I can't speak for anybody, I'll be speaking for myself. But before we dig down deep as to why I'm a professional hater, we first need to define what this even means in the first place. So here's a quick little definition. But before we get into it, like, comment, and subscribe for more well-informed videos, because I guarantee you your mind will change, or at the very least, you will understand the pro-hate mindset. With that said, professional hater refers to an individual who are consistently negative, critical, or hostile with or without a clear or constructive purpose. And these people seem to take pleasure in pointing out flaws, spreading negativity, and or expressing dissatisfaction, sometimes to an exaggerated degree if they're feeling humorous in the moment. So, it must be negative, critical, or hostile, and it can or cannot have a clear constructive purpose. Now, usually when there's no clear constructive, it is for the humor, more exaggerated side of things. But to be clear, just because it's exaggerated doesn't mean there's no truth in it at all. There can be a constructive purpose in it. It is also important to note that you do not need a constructive reason to be a hater. Just being salty and bitter is also valid. But you can have a constructive purpose to hate and not a clear constructive purpose at the same time. You can be a selfish, jealous, bitter hater on the side or front and center. It doesn't matter. You can be both at the same time.
But Sterling, why would people be a professional hater? Give us examples, explain why.
We're going to start from the most understandable reasons to hate to the least reasonable. The most reasonable is to properly criticize and bring people back down to reality. What do I mean? I mean people that get famous overnight. There are a lot of celebrities out there that got famous for something, and now they think they're on top of the world, getting constant praise and love and support. Now, me personally, I can't let that one slide, because I see how these people act. Their ego is inflated beyond heaven, and on the inside, it just doesn't sit right with me. Sure, you got famous for toy and spitting on that thing, but you still a normal regular human being like the rest of us. Like a lot of modern celebrities, if you can even call them that, they suddenly think they have all this power and influence, and they get gassed up by random people into believing this. If these people have 100% support, then I must be dead, because the amount of hate I would generate would at least make up 1%. I'm gonna start roasting you like rotisserie chicken. But deck on this, random person gets famous, gets inflated ego, and when that 15 seconds is up, they will either do extreme things to keep the attention on them, or become an adult star, or crypto scamming people. Very few people actually use their 15 seconds of fame to do something interesting. But even with those people, I'm still hating, and it's pure jealousy. I'm not even gonna lie about that. But also, people are out here putting in work, and this random person produces a moist fart and becomes an overnight sensation. Like, ain't no way this is reality. This is such a valid reason to start hating on somebody, and you can't convince me otherwise. Anyway, it just does something to me. Seeing somebody blow up somewhere, even if the person is good and doesn't let the fame get to their heads, it still irks me. Imagine the amount of people trying to imitate them, like, oh, if I do this, then I'll get famous too with very little effort. Yeah, it's not the famous person's fault for blowing up over something stupid, but haters gonna hate, and you are profiting off of it, so you're gonna have to catch this stray. I don't know what to say. If the person in question has talent, the hate starts to be less reasonable and more personal. Look, I am a man with little to no talents. So when I see somebody younger than me do what I do, but 10 times better, your boy's gonna get a little bit jealous. This is where peak hating comes into play. That fully makes me a professional hater because I'm not trying to hold this accountability and improve myself to get better. No, sir. No, sirree. No, sir. I'm not the problem. Like, it has to be everybody else, no matter how I see it. You see, projecting protects one's ego and self-esteem. It is the ultimate defense mechanism tenfold because of how easy it is. But old and young people, you've probably heard these words before. With great power comes great responsibility. Misusing this ability can lead you to getting dunked on left, right, center, diagonally in the fourth dimension. And your options becomes doubling down and making it worse for yourself, or deleting all of your socials and starting over with a new alias. If it ever comes down to that, you're a novice hater. You need to be more classy, more thoughtful, more majestic, more insightful, more demure. Going back on track though, when I see people with talent be successful, it hurts, especially when they're younger than me, because it's like, I spent so much of my life doing this one thing, and here comes this random 12-year-old and they're doing what I do better. Like, my ego is already on life support. It's barely hanging on. It's time for me to use that defense mechanism and look out for me. I'm gonna lose my mind if I see another 10-year-old kid posting their online art talking about some I got bored. Here's a quick little sketch, and oh my gosh, I know it's so bad. It only took me 10 minutes to draw, and it's the most detailed, most dynamic posed piece of art I've ever seen. Like, I've spent my whole life on some art, and this still looks better than mine. Like it's starting to get a little too personal in here. We're moving on to hypocrisy and injustice. You see, I am what you call a noticer, and this might be the thing that makes my blood boil. People would say one thing and wholeheartedly believe everybody should follow it, then they do the exact opposite. Nah, man, this does not sit right with me. Not with politics, not with dating, not with arguments, not with nothing. I can handle difference in opinions, well, for the most part. But the moment I see a clear contradiction in somebody's belief, I start to lose it. For example, I'm going to keep politics out of it. My second example, bullying. You know how many times I've seen people be the biggest bullies online? Like, we're talking death threats, doxing, harassment. But the moment somebody gives them the tiniest, the sliveriest amount of pushback, it's, oh my gosh, I'm being threatened. I'm fearing for my life. But legit, the most extreme comment was somebody calling you an idiot. Like, the amount of hate I have for these people is unmatched. I think the proper word here is cry bully. And same thing with arguments in the online world and in real life too, actually. Just arguments in general, because so many people can't be consistent with their own beliefs. Like, they change what they believe depending on if it benefits them in the moment. Not even in a, oh, that's an interesting view. You, my good Homo sapien, you've changed my mind. Like, no. None of that. It's none of that. It's straight up just flip-flopping if it helps them win the argument in the moment. And these are the people I just cannot talk to. Or what about the law? I see people say this thing is bad, but if their side is doing this bad thing, now all of a sudden this bad thing is good, but only when we do it. It's rules for thee but not for me type of mindset. Those types of people, I'm wishing for the downfall. Like, I'm all here for it. But you see, it's like that's reasonable hate. You get extra bitter salt points if the individual is consistent with the arguments and makes reasonable sense. I know all of y'all are like this when somebody makes a pretty compelling argument, but screw you, you're still wrong. For example, look at people that say cats are better than dogs. There is no compelling argument for people to make that suggest cats are better than dogs in a positive way. Cats are better at being lazier than dogs. Cats are better at being more selfish than dogs. If that's your thing, sure, I guess. But dogs are clearly superior. They're man's best friends for a reason. Also, I'm just saying, if you die in your house, your cat will eat your face for survival. But your dog will cuddle up against your corpse and die with you. I'm sorry, like it's just a definitive fact. Dogs are better. The argument is compelling, 100% factual, but the cat folks can't handle objective reality. I'm sorry, but your kitty crew got nothing on my puppy barrage. Puppy barrage? I'll stop. And then you have the pet peeves. I promise you, if I walk down another narrow hallway where a group of friends are walking horizontally, preventing me from walking in front of them so I can hurry up to my destination, I'm going to lose my mind. Or walking down the steps only to see a couple dozen people sitting on them. And now I have to walk through a maze of human bodies to go up or down the stairs. Now I know what you might be thinking. And I don't remember if I mentioned it before. I don't remember. I don't watch my own videos back or anything. I'm going to assume I haven't. So for those that don't know, in school, I always sat on the stairs. It was the lonely era of my life. It was quite rough. But I didn't do it in heavily populated areas where the entire school would go. You feel me? When I was on the stairs, it was somewhere nobody went to. I am saying this to prevent comments in a few years or so talking about some,
Sterling, didn't you say?
Shut up! Shut up! It's different. Going back on track, I can't walk down in hallways in peace. I can't walk up or down the stairs anywhere in peace. And don't get me started on driving. Every single passing day, I start to empathize with the people that get road rage because golly, man. Like, I see why they get followed home because some of the things I've witnessed is insane. Actually insane. Like, hold on. Let me rip out Clip Studio Paint real quick. I gotta visualize this one for you. So one time I was driving, doing my own thing, mostly empty road, listening to this podcast. Life was so fine. I was going the speed limit, going in a straight line. I had no need to turn. We good. And then all of a sudden, out of the peripheral of my eye, I see this massive truck come into my lane, but not in front or behind me. Like, he was right next to me and essentially pushed me off into the next lane. Then he just speeds off.
Is this nigga serious?
My boy, what? Or we can talk about the people that drive fast, cut in front of you, then suddenly drive 10 below the speed limit. Or the people that would turn on their blinkers as they're turning last second. I haven't even been on the road for that long. Like, I'm still a baby out here behind the wheel, and I understand these old heads getting out of the car, making a fool out of themselves. I sympathize with them. They're the real victims in all this, in my honest opinion. Like, if the light turns green and I'm waiting 20 seconds for the car in front of me to start driving one more time, we throwing hands. I got time today, but what I don't have is money. So I'm staying in the car and I'm going to be swearing at you in the comfort of my own vehicle with the windows rolled up, of course. The driving equivalent of a post-nut clarity hits hard when you have to think about unbuckling your seatbelt. Like, nah man, I'm good. Also, people carry guns to my knowledge, so I'm not trying to mess around and find out. Like, you got it, stranger. You go on about your business. Take your time. The road is really out here radicalizing me because I'm at the point now to where the speed limit is 45 and I'm going 60 and the car in front of me is going a cool 50. And I'm getting all huffy and puffy about it. And I feel justified. Like, bro, step on the gas. Drive. Goodness gracious. And you know, this whole time, we've been talking about hate that makes sense. Not that it's justified, but it at least makes sense in reality. Whether it's cope, a defense mechanism to protect one's ego, jealousy, injustice, hypocrisy, trauma, all of that makes sense. But the ultimate hate is when there is no reason for it at all. Sometimes people just annoy you. No real reason, no trauma, no jealousy, no nothing. You just don't like somebody. And you're always there waiting for them to do something even remotely negative so you can jump on their heads. Okay, honestly, this kind of annoys me with some people where people would hate on somebody relentlessly but it's not justified or understandable in any way. But the moment there's even a crumb of controversy, they'll ride that wave until the end of time because that's all the ammo they have on that person. Now you see, this is what I was talking about earlier when I said using your power of hate irresponsibly. This is how you get dunked on in every direction. Now my version of this is just watching them in the shadows. I silently wait for them to mess up big time, collect all the evidence, then I start digging in them cheeks. Pause on that. My intuition is pretty solid, honestly, because there are some people I don't like for no reason and they turn out to be a bad person, and it feels, it just feels so good. And now you see hundreds upon hundreds of videos that's hours upon hours of hours long. You see hundreds of videos that's hours long exposing these people, and yeah, it just feels amazing. It feels good to be right when everybody was booing you. Sometimes I'm wrong though. Sometimes people I like gets exposed as bad people, and that actually hurts. Oh my gosh. Please, you guys, don't be bad people. Anyway, there are a lot of reasons to be a hater. I fit all of these criteria, but I'm a professional, very demure, majestically insightful. I use this power of hate for great responsibility. But every now and then, we do a little trolling. We do a little trolling. Hate doesn't always have to be all negative. We have fun with it from time to time. For me, it's most of the time, but you tell me, viewer. I know I said at least one thing controversial in this video that made somebody mad, and I'm all here for it. So let me hear your thoughts in the comments, but before you do that, hit that there like button and subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos, even if you didn't like this video, because, well, you gotta be a professional hater. You gotta collect the ammo on me to make those long video essays in the future. So like, comment, and subscribe to kickstart my potential and or inevitable downfall by watching all of my future videos the moment they release. And I think that's all I have for now. We're done here.